Pittsburgh Steelers have recently made a decision that has sparked a great deal of conversation and speculation within both the sports community and the fan base. The team's choice to trade a talented player has raised numerous questions about the motivations behind this decision and what it means for the future of the franchise. While it may appear at first glance that the Steelers are moving away from a promising player in favor of building for the future, the truth is much more nuanced and directly aligned with the team's current ambition to remain competitive in the immediate term. The trade, particularly when viewed through the lens of player performance, reflects the Steelers' desire to remain at the top of their game in the 2025 season and beyond. The player in question, who was once seen as an integral part of the team's offense, was let go not because of a lack of talent, but because of issues surrounding his professionalism, commitment, and reliability. It is a tough but necessary decision that reflects the hard truths that every team must face when a player's behavior and attitude begin to negatively impact the team's overall dynamic. In this case, it was not a matter of talent or potential, but of ensuring that the locker room culture remained intact. The team's work ethic stayed strong, and everyone was on the same page in their pursuit of success. It is essential to recognize that the Steelers are not abandoning the pursuit of success in the short term, despite the trade. In fact, their actions suggest quite the opposite. With strategic investments in other key players, including veteran stars, and a focus on strengthening their quarterback position, it's clear that the Steelers are determined to remain competitive now while also preparing for long-term success. The departure of the player in question was, in many ways, a necessary move to clear the way for a fresh start and a more cohesive and disciplined team environment. This decision, while certainly not without its emotional and professional challenges, was made with the clear understanding that the franchise's success is built on more than just talent. It is about attitude, professionalism, and a shared commitment to the team's goals. For the Steelers, there was simply no room for a player who could not consistently show up, mentally and physically, for the team. The player's lack of punctuality and his inability to maintain the required level of focus and effort during games and practices were consistent sources of frustration. Even during high-stakes moments, such as critical games, his attitude seemed to falter, and his body language reflected a sense of negativity that could not be overlooked. These were not just isolated incidents. They became part of a pattern that ultimately led to the decision to move on from him. In the case of the Christmas Day game against the Kansas City Chiefs, the player's tardiness during a critical moment was a clear signal that he was not as reliable as the team needed him to be. His behavior in the locker room and on the field became increasingly difficult for his teammates and coaching staff to ignore. It became clear that he was not fully invested in the team's mission. This lack of commitment and discipline, as evidenced by his repeated lateness and unprofessional conduct, undermined the team's goals and created friction within the locker room. The issues surrounding the player's punctuality were only the tip of the iceberg. His general attitude and the way he carried himself on the field were also problematic. He often appeared disinterested, and his effort on plays was noticeably lacking, especially when he knew the ball wasn't coming his way. Whether it was in blocking for the run or running routes that didn't result in a catch, his effort seemed to fluctuate, and it became evident that he was not putting in the maximum effort required to be successful at the highest level. This lack of commitment to his role, both physically and mentally, was something that was not just frustrating for the coaching staff, but it also sent the wrong message to the rest of the team. A player who is not fully invested in the team's success is one who becomes a liability, not just on the field, but in the overall team culture. The Steelers simply couldn't afford to keep such a player around, and ultimately they made the difficult but necessary choice to trade him. This trade may have caught some by surprise, particularly given the timing, but it was, without a doubt, the right move for the franchise in the long run. While some may argue that the Steelers are losing out on a talented player who could have been a key contributor, it's important to consider the broader picture. The Steelers' management and coaching staff have made it clear that their ultimate goal is to win now, and they will not let a player's behavior or attitude stand in the way of that. The team is still focused on achieving immediate success, and in order to do so, they need players who are not only talented, but also committed to the team and its goals. This focus on the present is reflected in the team's actions over the past off-season. Despite the trade of a key player, the Steelers have continued to make moves that demonstrate their commitment to competing at the highest level. They have made significant investments in key areas, including acquiring a veteran quarterback to provide stability and leadership in the locker room. Additionally, they have worked to retain their other important veterans, ensuring that the team's leadership core remains intact and that the franchise remains competitive for the upcoming season. At the same time, the Steelers are not just looking at the immediate future, they're also preparing for the long term. The team is already looking ahead to the 2026 draft, where they have accumulated a remarkable number of picks, including 3 in the 3rd round, 2 each in the 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds, totaling 12 picks overall. These picks will give the Steelers the opportunity to build for the future while also making strategic moves to improve their roster in the present. The team's goal is clear. They need to secure their quarterback of the future, and they are positioning themselves to have the resources necessary to select their preferred signal caller in the upcoming draft. Whether that player is someone like Drew Aller, G. Nussmeier, or even Archie Manning is still up in the air. But what is certain is that the Steelers are preparing to make a bold move to secure their future at the most important position in football. The decision to trade away a talented player does not mean that the Steelers are abandoning their pursuit of immediate success. In fact, it is the opposite. By clearing up any distractions and removing a player who could no longer be relied upon, the Steelers have positioned themselves for a brighter future while ensuring that they remain competitive in the short term. The team's commitment to winning now and building for the future is reflected every decision they make, from acquiring veterans to investing in their draft resources. As the Steelers continue to prepare for the 2025 season, it's clear that they're not slowing down in their pursuit of success. They are focused on putting together a team that is capable of competing for a championship while also ensuring that they have the necessary resources and foundation to build for the future. With their impressive draft picks, their continued commitment to acquiring talent, and their clear focus on both the short and long term, the Steelers are positioning themselves to remain a powerhouse in the league for years to come. Despite the trade, the franchise remains as determined as ever to continue its tradition of success, and the future is looking brighter than ever for the team and its loyal fans. As the Steelers move forward from this decision, it's crucial to understand that this trade, while significant, is only a small piece in the grand strategy that the franchise has been developing for years. The franchise's core philosophy has always been about building from the inside out, focusing on strong leadership, developing talent, and creating a culture that emphasizes discipline, hard work, and dedication. It's this culture that has brought the Steelers success over the years, and the front office has made it clear that they will not compromise those values, even if it means making difficult decisions like trading away a player who once had high expectations placed upon him. The loss of this player does not signify the end of the Steelers' journey, but instead serves as a pivot point, a step towards aligning the roster with what head coach Mike Tomlin and general manager Omar Khan believe will give them the best chance at success, both now and in the future. Tomlin, who is known for his no-nonsense approach, has always emphasized accountability, and this trade is a reflection of that philosophy. The message is clear. The Steelers are a team that values not only talent, but also the right mindset, professionalism, and commitment to the collective cause. They are a team that expects everyone to pull in the same direction, and anyone who isn't willing to do that will find themselves out of the locker room. In some ways, this trade could be seen as a symbolic shift, a recognition that the old ways no longer serve the team's future goals. While the Steelers have had a long history of success, including multiple Super Bowl victories and a string of playoff appearances, there's a growing sense within the organization that the time has come to embrace change. And it's not just about moving away from a problematic player. It's about adjusting the team's overall approach to ensure that they are prepared for the challenges of the future. With the competition in the AFC as fierce as ever, the Steelers know they need to remain ahead of the curve. Part of this adaptation involves their approach to the draft. The Steelers' ability to identify talent has always been one of the hallmarks of their success, and they continue to focus on adding youth and depth to their roster. The acquisition of more draft picks for the upcoming 2026 draft, including those precious third-round selections, gives the Steelers a unique opportunity to reshape their roster even further. These picks provide flexibility, enabling the team to target key areas of need or potentially package them for future trades that align with their long-term vision. It's not just about filling gaps now. It's about building a roster that can continue to contend for championships well into the next decade. There's also the matter of the Steelers' quarterback situation, which has been a topic of discussion in recent years. Despite their success, there's been a growing sense that the team will need to find a successor to their veteran quarterback, who is no longer in his prime. The addition of a younger, more dynamic quarterback could be the key to unlocking the team's full potential. In the coming seasons, the Steelers have long been known for their ability to develop quarterbacks, and there's a belief within the organization that the next great signal caller could be just around the corner. Whether that comes through a high-profile draft pick or a trade remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the Steelers are committed to making the necessary moves to ensure they are set up for future success. At the same time, there's a renewed emphasis on strengthening the team's defense, which has long been a trademark of the Steelers' success. While the offense gets much of the attention, it's the defense that has consistently kept the team competitive. The Steelers have one of the most formidable defensive units in the league, and they continue to invest in upgrading that side of the ball. With a strong defensive front, a talented group of linebackers, and a secondary that can make plays when needed, the Steelers believe that defense will be what keeps them in games as they transition to the next phase of their evolution as a team. In addition to their focus on defense, the Steelers have also made significant moves to bolster their offensive line, which has been an area of concern in recent seasons. By improving the protection in front of their quarterbacks and running backs, the Steelers are positioning themselves for better offensive production. A solid offensive line is the backbone of any successful offense, and the Steelers are placing a premium on ensuring that their line can hold up against some of the league's toughest defenses. This commitment to the line speaks to their long-term vision, as they look to not only develop their quarterback of the future, but also to give him the tools he needs to succeed. The departure of the player in question, though tough, also provides an opportunity for other players on the roster to step up and take on more responsibility. There's a sense within the locker room that the trade has opened up new possibilities for those players who have been waiting for their chance to prove themselves. This is particularly true for the younger members of the roster, who now have the opportunity to earn more playing time and potentially become future stars. The Steelers have a history of developing young talent, and this situation is no different. It's a chance for the younger players to make an impact and show that they are ready to contribute to the team's success. Moreover, the Steelers' ability to maintain their competitive edge, even in the face of challenges, speaks to the organization's overall strength. They are a team that has weathered numerous changes over the years, from changes in personnel to changes in coaching staff. Yet through it all, they have managed to remain a consistent contender. This ability to adapt and overcome adversity is part of what makes the Steelers one of the most respected organizations in the NFL. Looking ahead, the Steelers are clearly not content to rest on their laurels. They are a team that is constantly evolving, always looking for ways to improve. Whether it's through the draft, free agency, or trades, the Steelers are committed to putting together the best possible team to compete for championships. Their long-term vision is built on a foundation of hard work, discipline, and a relentless pursuit of excellence, and they are determined to continue that tradition for years to come. In the end, the trade of this player was not just about getting rid of a bad apple or a problematic individual. It was about resetting the team's focus, aligning their roster with the values that have always defined the Steelers' success, and positioning the team for the challenges ahead. It's a reminder that in the NFL, every decision is made with the goal of winning championships, and the Steelers' commitment to that goal remains unwavering. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a surprising move that sent shockwaves through the NFL community, quarterback Baker Mayfield has signed a 3-year contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. After a series of ups and downs in his career, Mayfield would now look to revitalize his playing days under the guidance of the Steelers coaching staff and their storied franchise history. Mayfield, a former first overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, had his fair share of high moments with the Cleveland Browns, including leading the team to its first playoff victory in decades. However, inconsistency and injury struggles ultimately led to his departure from Cleveland, followed by a brief and tumultuous stint with the Carolina Panthers. Despite the setbacks, Mayfield remains a quarterback with immense talent and potential. The Pittsburgh Steelers, known for their tough, hard-nosed football style, have long had a solid tradition of developing quarterbacks with legendary figures. Like Ben Roethlisberger leading the way for nearly 2 decades, the Steelers' offense now faces a new chapter in its history. After Roethlisberger's retirement, the Steelers have been in search of a new signal caller who can provide stability and lead the team back into playoff contention. Mayfield's arrival could be just what the franchise needs. At 28 years old, Mayfield is still in the prime of his career and has shown flashes of brilliance. With a fresh start in Pittsburgh, Mayfield will have the opportunity to work with a top-tier coaching staff and talented teammates. The Steelers' offensive line, bolstered by several strong additions in recent years, should give Mayfield the protection he needs to succeed. While their strong receiving core, headlined by Deontay Johnson and George Pickens, should provide him with ample targets to exploit, Mayfield's leadership abilities have never been in question. Known for his fiery competitiveness and ability to rally his teammates, he could quickly become a fan favorite in Pittsburgh. The Steelers fan base is one of the most passionate in the league, and Mayfield's tenacity and chip-on-the-shoulder attitude could resonate well with the blue-collar mentality of Pittsburgh sports culture. While the signing comes with risks, as any team looking to bring in a quarterback with Mayfield's inconsistent track record would face, the Steelers are known for their patience and commitment to developing talent. Head coach Mike Tomlin, who has earned a reputation for getting the most out of his players, will look to tap into Mayfield's potential and transform him into a reliable starter for years to come. For Mayfield, this is the chance he has been waiting for, a chance to prove that he still belongs at the top of the quarterback ranks. If he can stay healthy and find his rhythm, this could mark the beginning of a new chapter in his career and a successful tenure with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The coming season will be crucial for both Mayfield and the Steelers as they aim to build a championship contending team around their new quarterback. Fans in Pittsburgh are eager to see if Mayfield can lead them back to glory. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.